In this video, I'm going to show you guys how you can make an invoice in Excel. Now say this is the name of your company. You're going to want to differentiate this cell. So let's change the cell style to make it bigger. Say this is your address. Let's change the cell style as well. Let's try to indent these cells to make them look a bit better. Say you want to select two groups of cells. You would hold down the control key and then this key would indent it. So now let's say this is the invoice itself. You want to make this look better, so the easiest solution I have would be to just create a table. So you could create any sort of table. Your table has headers. And then, yes, this is completed. Now, because of the complications with a table, you could just convert it back to a range. So, this area down here, you would probably want to show when their invoice is due. So let's merge and center this area. So now here, you want to give them the choice to find the product code. So for that, we'll use data validation. So let's select all of these cells. We'll go to data and data validation. So now we will allow a list. And for the source of that information, it's going to be this list, which is the list of products you have. Select OK. So now all of these cells have the ability to choose the product code. So now in this one, we're going to want to use a Vlookup so it can find what the product code is, or the service in this case, for the product code. So we're going to choose the cell, the table array. We'll make that an absolute function. In this case, it's the second column, and we want an exact match. So we will choose false. And as you can see, it comes up. So let's copy it all the way down. But you see, we have this problem with the NAs if nothing is selected. So to change that, let's put an if error at the beginning of this. So if error, this will be the value. And if there's an error, this is the value that's going to be shown. So, all right. In the next one, we're going to need a VLOOKUP. So let's put an if error right from the beginning. If error, now we are going to need to do the VLOOKUP. This is the cell value. This is the table of products. In this case, we need the third column, and it is an absolute match, so we will select false. And now to complete the value, if there's an error, we want nothing displayed. So, okay, it completed the hourly rate for that. So let's see if it works in one of these other columns. Okay. And now in this row, we would just want to enter how long we worked on it. So let's say we worked 34 minutes on the corrosion prevention design and 50 minutes on this. So now we would want to calculate the amount. Equals the hourly rate times the amount of minutes divided by 60 minutes in an hour. And to prevent values like this showing up, instead of the if error, how about we use an if in this one? So if the code cell equals blank, then display blank. Otherwise, display this. We'll close that off. Copy it all the way down, and there we go. Also, we have the problem of data being too many digits, so to shorten the number of digits, there we go. It's all 2 digits. And let's change these cells to currency along with these cells as well. So down here, we are going to want to calculate a subtotal. So for that, we'll just use an equal sum. So if you want to offer them a discount, now we have this arrow down here for discounts. So let's turn this into a data validation, in which we will give them a list of values and we will type them in ourselves. So yes and no. Okay. So now they have 2 choices, yes or no. So in this cell, we can do an if, so equals if this cell equals yes, %, otherwise 0. So, as you can see, if they do have a discount, it says 10, and if they don't, it says 0. So here, we'll do the same thing, equals if this cell is equal to yes, and then the discount is equal to this times the discount rate. Otherwise, if it's false, then 0. So, as you can see, since it was no, it turned into a 0. Let's see if we change this into a yes. It gives a discount, but it has too many decimals. So, we will reduce the number of decimals. So here we will calculate the subtotal. We will use a cell for the taxes. And finally, the total cell. We will just use a sum for this. And there you go. The invoice is almost complete. Now the last section is right here, where you would want a display for the date. So let's say the date is, I don't know, let's say 2020 11 11. So here we would want a message. So if this cell is equal to blank, then don't say anything. Otherwise, say the words, please pay balance due by, colon, space, end of quotation, ampersand to connect the second formula, and the text, because we need to convert it, EO month, which will get me the end of month for this formula. So start date is this, and we want it in the same month, so we will select 0. And the format we want to display it in is MMMM, DD. So, as you can see, it calculated that it is in November and it put the date for the end of the month. So to make it look better, let's center it in the cell. And there we go. If we change this date to, let's say, 2020 12/11, it knows that it's December. It tells you the end of the month. So that's basically how you can create your own invoice in Excel. Now you could adapt this invoice for your business as you see fit. Now say for example your business didn't work on time and it worked on quantity. You could just change this section to quantity, and for the amount you would just remove this divided by 60. And then the income statement or the invoice would be a calculation of the quantity instead. So really you could adapt this as you see fit. Just put your products down here, whatever your products may be, and yeah, it's pretty much good to go. But that was basically this entire video. So if you guys are interested in more Excel content, like more if formulas, nested if formulas, maybe learning some of them, just let me know in the comments and I could post more stuff like this in the future. But thanks for listening and have a good day.